Hey, welcome to another episode of LRJ Podcast and Chill. The usual suspects are here, John, Leslie, and myself, Ryan. So today, obviously, we want to follow up with our previous episode where we talk about was a
Our
special
worst or bad Tinder dates,
a
like
bad
bad
Tinder
dates.
date, or
Yeah.
I wouldn't say bad, but I would say more memorable ones, right? Special Tinder dates, right? So I guess I
Okay.
want to ask you in this episode, what would be like an ideal date for you, a first date for you guys? So from a guy perspective and from a girl perspective, right?
Mhm.
What do you look for, right, in your first date, right? It doesn't have to be, someone you met online. It can be just, literally, going out on a first date, right, in Hong Kong. Maybe let's start with you, Leslie. So
Okay.
I let me guess. I guess the first thing we look at is punctuality.
I mean that's part of it. That's one important thing. Like hopefully when I'm there, you're kind of like there already. I don't have to wait for you.
Yeah.
Um, what do I look for? I think mainly it's our connection
Right.
with one another, like, the things that we talk about during that date, whether it's like a short date, like a coffee date, or something where you go for lunch, which I shared about last time.
Right. You did.
Yeah. Okay.
But before
Um,
that, Leslie, like, do you before going out, do you expect the guy plan everything, or do you kind of doesn't really matter? Like, if the guy doesn't initiate it, you can suggest a place or like how.
usually no, I would always ask like what he wants to do, and then usually they'll ask me as well, and then we'll kind of come to like a conclusion
I
of
mean,
what
would you
to do.
rather the guy have like a plan set
Um,
up, like fully set up, or like you kind of just wing it?
Actually, it's nice, I think, for him to plan it all out. It's kind of like a
Oh,
surprise.
that's a preference right there.
Yeah, I think
Ryan does
I
that.
think it's nice. Yeah. And then like I'll take over maybe the second day. I'll plan if it goes well. I mean,
Right.
yeah, it's
But what
nice.
if so say a guy plans to go for, I guess a restaurant that let's say Japanese restaurant, but you don't eat Japanese food. Let's say, for example, right? Do you vote?
Omakase?
Yeah.
For your
Well,
birthday.
let's say you don't eat any, sashimi or whatever. Right? Like,
Yeah.
would you voice it out, or you kind of like, oh, whatever. I would just tough it out.
Well, I mean, it depends. If I'm actually allergic to the food and something
Right.
happens if I eat it, then obviously I'll tell him, right?
Right.
'Cause I
What if
can't eat
he's
it.
like super handsome? Would you kind of
Doesn't
be like, oh,
matter. If I eat something,
oh,
I'm gonna be allergic to it.
okay,
It
okay.
has nothing to do with them being handsome at all.
I thought you'd tough it out, right?
Why would you, Ryan? Like if like a
I
girl wanted to eat Japanese food, but you can't eat
So I don't
sashimi.
eat spicy food, right? But
Okay, yeah, that's a
I
good
feel like
example.
if she's attractive enough,
You would eat spicy food?
I will actually say, look, I can't eat spicy food, but I would like to go on a date with you and do something you would like and enjoy, right?
Yeah,
So I
I
will be
mean, like
like,
you can
oh,
suggest something else, right? And I'm sure she'll be
but I would
okay
I
with
would
it.
I would tell them straight out. I was like, oh, I don't eat spicy food. I can go with you. I can order something else. But I
Yeah,
would try
exactly.
to accommodate that person if I'm interested enough, right? What about you, John?
Me? Well, is this in terms like the kind of like what I feel about like the food, and if I would sacrifice what I don't like to eat so then they're happy? Is that is
Yeah,
that the question?
if that's the question.
Well, I guess the intensity is different, right? You asked me about being allergic. So
Oh, okay. So allergic
I'm
versus.
thinking like kind of like a life and death situation.
Oh, okay. But not
Like,
obviously life and death, but just
okay, but like
less of
maybe,
a preference.
like, yeah, my skin
Yeah,
gets itchy or, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I
What would
actually
you
wondering
do?
about that. I'm thinking because I'm not too picky on stuff. I think what I'm thinking is like if they're vegetarian or vegan.
Mm.
I don't know about that actually.
Have you
I
guys
think
been on dates with vegetarians or people
not
that
that
are
I
vegan?
remember because I mean, the thing is I usually for like the first date I don't do like dinners and stuff like that. So it's like usually just like
Oh
a
Yeah.
drink, like a
shit.
coffee.
I
Yeah,
wanted
like
to
because
point this out too.
yeah, it's like kind of like Leslie's previous story, right? When you
Yeah.
have like a lunch or dinner date
You
and then it
kind of
takes a
learn
bit
your
longer.
lesson, You don't do that.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
what if they
you're there for a long
suggest?
time.
So if they suggest, right? So let's say they suggest, oh, let's go for dinner. Would you be like, all right, no, let's
Like,
do
no,
coffee?
because I haven't met them before, right? And also the thing is, I guess a lot of like the, well, I guess since I'm like since I'm a guy, usually it's more acceptable if the guy plans the first one. So I guess the ball's more on the guy's court where you can just plan more like either the drinks or coffee. But then
Right.
girls seems like they have to either follow or maybe it might be uncomfortable to stand up to like going against the lunch or coffee or lunch or dinner date. But yeah, I mean, I'll just do the coffee or dinner date for, oh no, coffee or drinks first, just to get to know the person, because you know you're gonna like them, right?
Right. Right.
You don't
Like,
know
always
if you
just
guys
dip.
like vibe.
Yeah, you can always just dip afterwards, right?
Yeah, that's why you
But the
gotta keep it
next
short.
Yeah, so the next one, that's when you do like the dinner date.
That's the
If you like them.
strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian, what do you do? Like
I always go on a proper dinner date.
your
But-
first
or-
time?
Right.
Yeah. And
But
I
the thing
al-
is,
sorry, John, go ahead.
because but the thing is like when you how did you meet the person? Is like did you already know them beforehand, or it was like
I
an
guess if you
online thing?
already know them, I guess it
Yeah.
makes sense to kind of have dinner because you already kind of know
Mhm.
them through a friend, say, right? Or whatever.
Yeah, so you know what
But
they
I guess
look
if you're
like.
meeting something
Mhm.
at random, right? You kind of want to test the water a little bit.
Mhm.
I'm thinking about like apps.
Yeah, because usually it's like apps nowadays.
Yeah.
But say it's not apps, right? Let's say you kind of, you're meeting someone you've already met before briefly,
Mhm.
and then you kind of, you wanna
I
Like,
think that's
kind of come
okay for
out and-
me.
right?
Like briefly, like where? Because usually if it's like a friends of a friend, it's kind of like it's a little bit more okay because you kind of know it's like the same social circle, and then you kind of have the same interests, so it makes it a bit easier to get along with. Usually, if it's like within a friend group,
Mhm.
or yeah, I guess in other groups that you're part of, as opposed to just randomly meeting someone online or just randomly meeting someone on the street.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
I don't really,
different.
yeah,
It's
because I
different.
because I don't because I haven't done this before. Like you go up to like a random person on the street, ask for their number.
Ryan,
So,
I feel like Ryan would do something like that though.
I've never done that before.
No, are you sure?
I never walk up to someone random and be like, "Yo, can I have your number?" No, I don't do that.
yeah.
But I have someone actually walked up to me and asked me for my number. It was,
Oh.
A
it
girl?
was like when I was a teenager. Yeah.
Really? How old is
Back
she?
in Canada or
No,
Hong
it
Kong?
was like during my summertime in Hong Kong when I was like in grade 11, 12.
Oh, really?
And then I think I still remember it was at the Mongkok station.
Wow.
And then
What
there's
time was it?
It's like afternoon. It's afternoon. I still got my bangs,
Oh my
Wait,
god, you're
wait, you had
full.
bangs?
Yeah, everyone have bangs. What are you talking about, John?
The hell, I never had bangs.
Really?
Anyway, yeah, go on.
All
Go
right.
on,
Yeah,
story.
yeah. So I just remember them asking me numbers, and then, back then I was already dating, right? So I kind of shy, I just be like, no, it's kind of too random, right? And
Wait,
then afterwards, I
Mhm.
regret it.
Was she attractive though?
She's just like one of those like just local to the max girl, right? Like kind of
MK.
MK girls.
Because I mean, you are meeting an MK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't. To be fair, I don't remember exactly how she looks like, but I just remember kind of like her. No, it's quite random. So sorry.
Oh
And then-
wow.
And then I don't know. Like I think she walked a couple of blocks down in the MTR station, like inside the train,
Oh,
because it's quite awkward if you still stay there, right? With your
poor
friend.
girl.
And then and after I told my friend, and friend's like, "What 搞錯啊
Yeah, I know.
obviously 俾佢啦." And I was like, "Oh shit."
搞
really?
錯啊
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was like, you.
Ryan, 你
And
做
then my friend was
乜嘢啊
like, as a guy, you never reject a girl like that. I was like, oh, really? It should be the other way around. I was like, all right, fine.
Yeah, because girls usually don't go through rejections.
Oh,
Yeah.
how
usually.
so? How so? Like,
Hmm?
I mean,
Well,
So
yeah,
you're saying
not usually,
right.
right? Because I feel like it's more the guys. Well, it's more the guy has to make the move, and then either the girl accepts or rejects, right?
Right.
But I feel like nowadays a lot of girls make them move.
Yeah.
So,
Possibly.
yeah.
Or they make it like they give out a lot of hints, so then the guy can make the move. Is it like that, or they actually go up to,
So
or they actually
going-
go up to the guy and say,
So
"Hey,
going
can
back
can
to
you
the
wanna go out?"
topic,
I'm sure
Wait.
there's girls that are,
Oh yeah,
you know.
some. Yeah, of course some.
yeah.
like going back to topic, right? Like, how would you say on a first date, you kind of feel like the girl is making a move or a guy is making a move, like throughout the whole conversation? Like, do you have particular I guess, a phrase that you'd be like, oh, wow, she's interested enough to actually ask this, right? Or oh, she paid for my coffee. Oh, that's a sign, right? I mean, is there anything like that that you kind of look for, or?
So for me, I think I guess one of the main thing would be like they would suggest like another time to hang out, or they kind of suggest like other ideas that they want to keep hanging out with you, right?
Right.
So I think there's like that kind of shows that they're interested.
Do you feel like girls dressing nicely on the first date kind of
No.
oh, okay. You sure,
Wow,
John?
that was a fast answer.
John, you sure?
Yeah, because
Or
like
she's
okay,
like
look,
kind of
because they could be like they initially like you first. That's why they dress really nicely, and then afterwards, then when they get to know you, and they're just like, nah, fuck this guy.
oh
I
shit.
don't like this guy. It's like
Well, what's
no
considered
second date.
what's considered nice though to you guys? Like, do they have to wear a dress? Like what's your definition of nice?
I guess not like like a like a casual, like I guess smart casual for girls, right? So nothing like sport gears, like I guess maybe a dress, maybe, or like put on makeups. I feel like that's kind of like a proper, right? Not that I mind, but I actually prefer girls just be themselves, to be honest, instead of kind of over prepping for this date, right? Because at the end, you kind of want to know that person instead of just seeing what they can
See what they look like.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
when they look their best.
Do
Yeah,
you prefer girls like with makeup or without makeup? Because I know some guys.
I prefer no makeup, to be honest.
Okay.
So for me, if the girl on the first date, if the girl comes into the restaurant and
With no makeup on?
with
I
no
don't know,
makeup,
Because
just
John's like,
natural.
that's kind of strange. I don't know. That's kind of strange.
All right, maybe like I
like
guess
very natural, not
natural
not
makeup,
like,
yeah,
like how they
not
look,
like being
like how they, yeah,
caked or
like how they look
yeah.
every day, right? I think
Yeah.
right.
it's like no makeup at all. It's like
No eyebrows.
I was like, yo, you okay? As mean as that sounds, because I know like I remember like how girls would say like if they don't wear makeup to go to school, go to work, everyone asks them like, oh, are you sick? Are you okay?
Oh my goodness.
But I mean, yeah, I mean,
But what about
yeah.
for girls? If a guy doesn't come in gel, like let's say they come out gel right, and just walk in, right? They didn't, would you be like, oh, what so disrespectful? Like, how
for
dare you
gel
not
the
even?
hair.
Yeah, or like,
I think like if you're dressed in like really raggedy clothes and like you smell like BO, I think yeah, I think
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
definitely
BO.
turn off like a lot of girls.
Yeah. And also, I guess depends like what you do for the first date, right? I mean, if it's like coffee, I wouldn't really expect them to like, look. I don't know.
I'm just looking at Leslie.
I know, right? Leslie's like,
Can you guys not look at me?
she's putting on her face mask. And,
Yes, I have a face mask on while talking to you guys. That's how comfortable I am with you guys.
That's good.
Okay,
That's good.
that's all right.
But I mean, so for girls, I guess first impression really matters, right? Not much of a.
Same for guys, no?
I think at least for me, I think first impression is not everything, right?
No, I remember you said first impressions are everything to you, Ryan. What are you talking
Wait, I
about?
said that.
Wait, wait.
Did I said that?
Go back to one of the episodes.
All right,
Forget
all
which
right.
one. Was it the
I
other
don't
dating one?
remember, but I
But
remember.
now that I think about it, right? I guess
Make up your mind.
I'm undecisive on this. All right, fair enough. John, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, first impressions, I feel like it does have an impact, right? Because like you meet them like the first time you're meeting them, you feel like you want to put your yeah, because I think we did talk about this before. Like you want to put your best self, like you show your best self for the person your first impression, right? Because like you're just meeting them for the first time. It's like I guess it kind of makes you think if they're not putting like a good first impression, you're gonna be like, is this gonna be even worse than this?
Yeah. When you're actually
when you really
dating.
get to know them.
Yeah.
It's like they're already like this one, like showing someone like showing how they look or how they are in public or like kind of presenting themselves. So then when they're in their house or being even more comfortable,
I guess what I want to say is first impression do matter, but
it's not everything.
It's not everything. First of all, and second of all, I don't want them to try so hard, right? To to have a proper, make sure they say the proper things, doesn't get fucked up on first date. Because I don't want that, right? I just want them to be natural, just be themselves, right? Because for me, at the end of the day, even we don't end up being together, it's still great to know that person, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not anything special, just like the person I'm seeing, right? So, well, what I'm trying to say is, I think everyone just normal, right? Just be yourself, and have a good laugh, and at the end of the day, we can just have a good connection, right? But then I want to ask this, right? So throughout the whole conversation, right? Do you feel like there are something that you definitely don't ask or don't say, that kind of you kind of say or ask these type of things, it will be a turn off on the first date? So for example, right, I know for guys, if a girl's ask you, oh, how much you make on the first date, or where do you live, it kind of might scare off some guys in Hong Kong, because they feel like, oh, are you a gold digger? Like, what are you trying to get? Like, why are you trying to get these info from me on the very first date, right?
Mhm.
Would you feel that way, John?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, a little bit.
Right.
Like, yes, if that's like the first thing they ask, yeah, where like how much you make or where do you live? I'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
like, why are you asking
Why are you
this?
asking?
Yeah, I guess it goes the same for girls, right? If the guy, what would a guy ask?
But like
So,
as a
what do you,
girl,
do, you,
like I
do you
would
sleep on
never
the first
ask
date? Do you
that
sleep
on
so
the
on the
first
first date?
date.
Huh?
Like I'm saying, like as a girl, I would never ask a guy like how much
Yeah.
you make or where you live on the first date.
Mhm,
Yeah.
So that's like kind of like a red flag for
Mhm.
guys, I guess, right? If a girl asks that.
mhm. But I guess there is the reason why they would ask that. I mean, possibly they're trying to look for, I guess, like a husband. But that is kind of like a
Wait,
bit scary,
really?
right? Well, I
Really?
mean, I guess right, because I feel like most of them, well, not most of them. That's kind of, would that be sexist to say? But I feel like some that would ask that question, they're expecting to have like a long-term partner. So then they will have someone to help
Rely
provide,
on.
yeah, provide for them, right?
No, I feel like they're just gold diggers, really, if they ask that. I mean, why? It's not even about husband or not, right? It feels like, oh shit, like, can I treat you every single meal or buy you every shit they want? But, uh, you know, I mean, how much you make really doesn't have anything to do with your first date, right? I mean, you're still getting to know that person, and then you go into all these details. But what about you, Leslie? If a guy asks you this question, it's like, oh, well, Leslie, how much do you make and where do you live right now?
I'd be like, why are you asking me this?
Oh, even the
Like,
girl will feel that
I
way.
feel like,
Okay.
yeah, I feel like the where do
Yeah,
you
I feel
live
like
right now is a bit creepy,
yeah.
right? That one's a bit creepy. Though how much you make, I don't know if it would offend that much as to a girl as compared to a guy, but where do you live is like pretty creepy.
But I don't think I've ever gotten asked these questions before. I don't think I would. I don't know. Like if someone did ask me that, I'd be like, yeah, why are you asking me this?
Oh, you actually will ask you question
like
why
in my head, I'll be like,
right.
what? Yeah.
Would you answer them?
Um
Give me a good reason.
yeah.
Because I'm hot, that's why.
Is that your reason for everything, Ryan?
Yeah, it sounds like
Nah.
it.
It's like if they're hot, would you do this? It's like
I feel like some people can get away if they're super hot. Some people.
Mhm.
possibly. Makes me even
There's
question.
some level of
Makes me even
temptation.
more question. Then it's like you're that hot. Like, why are you asking me how much I make?
Because the other date makes more than you, huh?
She's
Okay.
comparing.
Comparing.
Yeah, shopping, right? Browsing the goods.
All right. So this is a question that I want to ask you guys, right? So throughout the whole conversation on your first date, right? So let's say you meet them on a some dating app or something, right? So throughout this whole conversation, suddenly you see the other person's phone vibrate, and then ping, there is a Bumble alert or there's a Tinder alert that pops up.
Ooh.
Do you feel
I
like,
think we were just
oh
talking-
shit, that's a
talking-
that's a kind of like a mood killer right there? Or would you kind of play with, it's like, oh wow, you still, multi seeing, or like
You like to
multi
use that word a lot.
multitasking, right? That's what
Yeah.
we talked about before, right?
yes. So how would you feel? Or would you feel like, oh, that's natural? Or how would you, because that's important, right? I mean, for our audience listening to this podcast, they might consider turning off their notification before going on dates, right? You never know.
I always turn off my or turn off my Tinder,
Wow.
Bumble.
Smart, John.
notifications. And plus, it's like if they send you a text and it buzz, I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of annoying. Like not in terms of like you don't want other people to see it. It's just like you're always like when it buzzes, you're like, oh
Checking,
shit, I
right.
got check. Oh, I got a text. Oh, I got a text.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel like in today's time, if you meet the person on the app, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're still having the notification or they're still like, you know,
They're bound to
searching
be
for other
talking to
people.
other people.
Yeah, I mean, you've met them on the app. I mean, you're talking to other people too. So
Yeah.
So it's fine, actually, I guess, for you guys.
I think it's fun if they get notifications, but it's another thing if they're actually replying to that message while they're on the date with you. Then that's kind of
Oh.
not okay, I guess, for me.
I
It's
think
like, why
that's
are
just
you
like, yeah,
yeah, like
I
why are
guess-
you talking to
I guess just general if they're on their phone,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I was gonna say that. Yeah,
I guess no matter
Oh.
what the reason is, just feels like you're not kind of respecting my time as well, right?
I think it depends. Like, if you're like eating, then like during a meal, then no. But if you're like, I don't know, on the MTR together or like
You have a lot
commuting.
to say about that, sure.
Like, I don't know, you could check your phone for like a minute. Like that wouldn't really like for yeah.
checking your phone like a really long time, just like looking.
Because for me,
on
I
your
think
Instagram and just like
Like I guess if it's like a quick one, it's okay, not for long.
yeah, I guess for me, right, a big no-no is if girls always on their phone while they're on a date with me, right?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
number
of
one.
course.
And number two, I feel like if they take picture of every single food that they see,
They're like, wait,
Uh,
don't eat yet.
that's
I don't
a lot of
know.
people, Ryan. A lot of people.
But
a
no, I
lot
know.
of people
But
do
on a
that, Ryan.
date, though, John, on a date, I mean,
I mean, I don't mind. I think it's just for me, it's just a picture, right? Unless they're like take a picture and then like spending a lot of time trying to post it, coming up like a really good caption for the post, then I'll be like,
Yeah.
yo, come on.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
that's annoying.
yeah. What if John? They'd be like, "All right, hey, can you take a picture of me and then and my coffee?" And then post
Oh,
it. They'd be
like those girls. Like,
yeah.
Oh.
What do you feel about that, John? Do you feel like, oh, fine, whatever is your
I don't think it's a
choice?
deal breaker, but it's just kind of you just like, okay.
your face.
Yeah,
Are you sure it's not a
I'll do
deal breaker,
exactly like
John?
that. Like
John, are
furrow
you
my
sure?
eyebrows and just like, all right.
Okay.
So that's not a deal breaker. So you
It's
go
not a
on a
deal
second date
breaker,
with
yeah.
her.
Yeah, it probably would, depending on how attractive she is.
I was
See,
just gonna say that. I was
it's
just gonna say
all
that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
about
All goes
the
back to that.
looks.
Well, for guys mostly. Girls,
What
I
about
feel like
Leslie? Like, what if the
Very
guy does
rarely
that?
guys like take photos of food.
What if that guy's a photographer and be like, oh, I want to take a picture of everything? Would you kind of
Oh,
be
okay. Well, if he's a photographer, then sure. I mean, that's your
Oh.
job, right?
Fine.
And that's your passion, taking photos of whatever. Yeah.
What about on a first date, the guys kind of help you pull the chair and be like, kind of
very
leading you in,
chivalrous.
like, yeah.
Mhm.
Do you feel like, oh, these gentlemen at kind of at brownie points too?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Okay.
Well, that's if they like them first. If they don't, they're like, ew, who's this creep?
Well, that goes for everything, no?
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
So I guess
Actually, so then going back to that, I think we talked about this a little bit. So having like a good date.
Mm.
So I think, how do I phrase this? Because we mentioned that like is what's a good date, and then afterwards, like would you be friends with this person or would it be like a long-term relationship? Because I feel like if you're friends with the person after you date them, like I said, if it doesn't work out, if you're still friends with them, for me, I feel like it's a little bit weird. Just a little bit. I'm trying to phrase this as I go.
wait, what do
just
you
a
mean,
little bit.
John? What do you mean, John? You lost me there. So
Yeah. So
after the first date,
because we mentioned like what makes a good date, right? Or good like
right?
good Tinder date or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But then doesn't necessarily would mean if you get into like long-term relationship with them, you can also be like friends with them afterwards, right? So how do you feel? Yeah, how do you feel about like being friends with them afterwards? Because I feel like I don't know, very surface level is like, oh, it seems fine. You date them and then it doesn't work out, you stay friends. But I feel like deep down it's like, I don't know, would you be like really close friends though? Or would it just be like acquaintances?
Hmm.
Well, for me, I actually became pretty close friends with 2 to 3 guys
Yeah, I'm
that
curious how that happens though. Yeah.
I've met from the apps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
What's that smiley?
right?
I just put on a smiley face on, guys. But go on, Leslie. Go
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, so one of them was basically when I first moved to Hong Kong. Like I don't have family here, right? I mentioned that before, and I was trying to look for roommates to rent a place. And so I was on the app, and then
Wait, what?
yeah,
Okay.
What?
so
You want to
I
find
was, no, no, no,
roommate and you
no,
go
no.
on the app?
Sorry, let me rephrase.
No, 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 go on,
Audience,
go
you're
on,
Sorry.
go on.
listening
No,
to
no,
this
no, no,
podcast. This is
let
the
her
way
go.
you
No, no, no,
go.
let her go.
Alright, let me
Explain
rephrase this.
herself.
I was actually looking for a roommate. Okay, that was one thing. And then
Leslie
I was
has a lot
also
of
on
interesting stories.
I actually have a lot of interesting stories from my time in Hong Kong.
Wow.
And then on the other hand, I was just on the app because I didn't know anyone here, right? I first moved here. And then so I met this guy on the app. And then basically, we met up and nothing happened. We were both looking for roommates. And then we both decided to live with each other along with another person, like 3 people.
How
And
does that work
so,
actually? Because I feel
yeah,
like were you attracted to him at first,
like,
like physically, and was he? Well, I guess I mean I would assume he would be attracted to you physically as well, right?
yeah. And
Unless you
then I
put
don't
that in
know,
your
like,
Bumble or your Tinder profile saying like looking for roommates
no,
only.
I didn't do that. It was
Okay.
just, I don't know, like we kind of like when we met, we're just like, oh, you know, I'm looking for a roommate. Oh, me too. And then we started talking and then we kind of got along. And then we're just like, okay, you want to live together? And like we just became friends. Nothing more. Like nothing ever happened between us. And then
Mhm.
over time, like we lived together for like around 2.5 years. And we became really good friends. And then even till now, I'm still good friends with him. Like he left Hong Kong already, but plan to visit him. He lives in Australia.
Mhm.
So I guess
Yeah,
it does
so
happen, right?
it does. But I guess it's rare, I would say,
Mhm.
for things like this to happen. But yeah.
So I guess, going back to the topic, after the first date, I suppose, is there some signal that you get from your date kind of hinted that, oh, there's nothing
Like nothing there. Let's
else,
stay
right?
friends,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly
Yeah.
how we did that, but yeah, definitely like we're like, yeah,
Because I
we're
feel
just
like
friends.
after the first date, it's always a guessing game, right? It's always like, oh shit, is she interested? Is he interested? Like, oh, should I make a move? Like, who should text first?
Mhm.
I think that is the kind of like a
Mhm.
like the point,
It's like
right?
mind
Where
games.
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
Right.
mind game
mind
thing, right? It's like,
games.
oh shit, like she didn't text me back after the first date for 2 days. Am I
Mhm.
over? And then suddenly a text pops up. It's like, yo, are we free next weekend? I feel like, yeah, what exactly is the signal that I guess for a guy or for a girl that we're looking to get after the first date?
What are the
Hmm.
signals? I think you would
Yeah, I
feel
know.
it
It's
though,
like
like
see,
the connection you have,
Mhm.
even just from the first date. Like some people, you just talk and then like there's not much to say. So you don't really connect with
Yeah.
them. So you kind of you already know like you're not gonna
Mhm.
really see them again or whatever. And then
Yeah.
there's people that you actually really connect with, and then you're like, yeah, definitely want to.
But I had moments where I thought I really connected with someone, right? And then afterwards just ghosted me, right? Well, I don't say ghosted me, but there's clearly nothing there, right? I mean,
Mhm.
it's pretty much a one-word reply, or but I always have to initiate the conversation. That's where I know that, oh shit, like, let's move on, right? So
Mhm.
So you thought there was a connection, but
yeah,
there
I
wasn't.
mean, yeah, I mean, anyone, I guess any average person, like you, even if you don't kind of have a common topic on your first date, you're not going to be like not talk. Like, obviously, you kind of find common grounds and finish off the conversation, finish off the date on a good note, right? But
Mhm.
as courtesy, right? But afterwards, you're not going to be like, oh, this person I want to hang out again, right? I mean, I guess that's where you kind of play mind games, like John said, right? I mean,
Mhm. Hmm.
Because after
Oh,
the
makes you-
first date,
makes you
really,
think,
it's like
right?
it goes limbo, right? It can literally be any
Yeah,
it
so
can
yeah, so I
go
was like wondering
anywhere,
about
right?
that. Yeah, I was wondering about
Yeah.
that because I feel like it might happen to guys more than girls, where like may feel like there's a connection, but the girl's just being polite, right?
Right.
Mm.
So it's like, oh wow,
Or
it's
the
like,
other way around too, right?
it's like wow, she's like really listening. She's saying a lot. She's saying it looks like she's paying attention, so it sounds like she's interested. But turns out she's like bored out of her mind listening to you talk about random like I
Because
don't
even
know,
for
you're
me, right,
yeah.
John, I mean, you can't imagine me going home with someone and I'd be saying nothing, right? That's impossible, right? But does it mean everyone that I talk to, I have interest to actually go on a second date? No, that's not the case, right? But
Mhm.
yeah,
So what is it that needs to happen for you to get a second date, or for you to initiate a second date?
I feel like if I'm interested enough, I would after the first day, I will send the girl home, or at least
Wow.
walk
Okay.
her to the train station or somewhere nearby, right? And I will probably text her that night, right? Be like, oh hey, thanks for coming out. It's a great time talking to you, and kind of gauge and see whether there's a
Her
response.
response.
Exactly, right? But I feel like everyone would have responded politely and say, oh, thanks, whatever. But afterwards, there isn't much there, right?
Mhm.
For girls, let's say, I mean, you do girls always kind of give a signal to guys on the how should I phrase this?
Like saying that they're not interested.
Yeah, or what's the way you think, for example, yourself, if you want to show that you're not interested in a guy after
If
first
I
date,
am interested
if you're
Not-
not interested,
not
or
interested.
not interested, mm.
Because some girls can be very like, it's
Yeah,
very
some will
obvious.
just straight up
Yeah. Say
make
no.
it clear. Yeah, like no,
Don't
or
don't
like,
touch me.
but it's very rare, right?
or like people ghost each other nowadays, right? Like that's a big thing.
Yeah, it's pretty normal nowadays.
Yeah, which is sad, but
Yeah, because I mean, not to say ghosting is like a good thing, but like to the side of like people who ghost, some of them would do it because if they say, "Oh, sorry, like we're not getting along," the other person would be like pretty upset, right? They get emotional, like, "What was that? What? I thought we were getting along." It's like, just give me
Oh,
another chance. Come
shit.
on, just give me another chance. We'll get along. Maybe I'll buy you dinner next time, and then. So
Wait,
I
a
think
girl say that?
no, a guy would say that to a girl. So that's
Right.
why I feel like a lot of girls would ghost, right? Because they don't
I
want
don't
to
even
deal with
want to
that.
go through
Yeah,
that.
yeah, they don't have that confrontation, right?
Yeah, it really depends.
And then I mean, for guys, it'll be like you ghost them. It's like after after we slept, you're just not gonna talk to me anymore. It's like what the hell in this game?
Okay, well, do you guys sleep with the person on the first date though? Like, would you guys or do you guys? Real question.
Oh, well, we're gonna talk about this now, huh?
Getting deep here.
So I guess
Oh.
it depends how
Oh,
it goes, right?
all your faces.
I think it depends how it goes. Because I feel like I'm not sure whether you guys agree with this or not, right? So I feel like some people you might be spending you can spend many years with another person, but you don't feel as connected as your first date, right? Because I feel like um the connection can be very strong if you meet the right person, right?
Mhm.
At
Yep.
the right time and right moment, right?
Mhm.
So if all goes well, say after the coffee, and then you have like a friend's dinner that you have to attend, right? But it goes so well, you feel like, oh shit, I actually want to bail and actually want to spend the whole night with you, just dinner, and then see how it goes, right? And then say if I'm on a vacation, right? I'm single, right? And then
Oh,
Oh, that's
And
just
then-
hooking up. That's not even a date. That's just hooking up.
that's
yeah.
not hooking up. That's not hooking
Wait,
up because
wait,
if you're on a vacation and you met someone that's also on a vacation and you just somehow kind of swipe right and connected with this individual, and then
It reminds me of John's Thailand.
okay, nothing happened. Nothing happened,
The
everyone.
lady
The
boy.
lady boy.
Oh my god, nothing
Okay,
happened. They just
sorry,
swiped,
continue.
and then she messaged me, and I was like, "Oh my god, I knew she was gonna message me too. Oh Jesus.
But
Anyway,
anyway, so
Sorry.
I don't know. I guess the answer is depends. What about you, John?
I think back then I would, just because I'm just young and stupid, just like, oh, any girl, come on, just bang them. But nowadays, I probably won't.
For sure.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about, because remember we had that conversation about like moving too fast, right? It's like, is there such thing as moving too fast, right? Which I say there is, right? Because first date, you barely know this person, and then you sleep with them. I mean, it's fun.
But
and
what
all,
if you
right?
feel very connected on your first date?
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
you
straight,
feel like,
sure.
oh shit, like they like
mean, that's
you
why you
guys
sleep with them,
literally
right?
share your whole life story within that few hours already.
The whole
I mean,
life story.
I mean,
Jesus.
it-
Is that really enough time to get to know someone though? Because you
but
don't really get to
it
know
goes with the
them
mood
really who they
too,
will,
right?
right?
I mean, it's the fact that how much are you willing to invest after your first date, right, with this person, right?
Yeah.
And
Of course.
then you feel like, oh shit, like you guys connected in every
Mhm.
single level,
Mhm.
physically attractive, emotionally attractive,
Yeah.
connected. Sorry. So
Mhm.
would that kind of be like, all right, you know what? And I feel like I don't know if the
I guess
timing is
depends.
right.
I guess depends what you want, right? If you just want like a hookup, then yeah, sure.
It's not.
Just
It's
hook
not
up.
about that. Like what I'm saying is not. I'm not even thinking of first date no sex guaranteed. Like that's not a rule written. Like for me, there's not such rule. Let's put it that way. It
Mhm.
depends how it goes. I won't initiate be like, oh yo, let's fuck. I'm not gonna say that obviously, but
Mhm.
if the mood goes, I don't know, maybe like you're literally asking, oh, it's like, oh, are you gonna go on drinks with the first date? There's no rule. That's like it's not a curfew, it's not a rule.
Well, yeah, of
I
course.
can't
Yeah,
kind
there's
of
no rules. I think, but I think there's just.
I mean, if it happens, okay, it happens. Like, oh shit, now we have to go to jail. Like, fucking, like, no, it's not like that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why I said like kind of depends. Well, for me, if it's just like just a fling hookup, yeah, sure, why not? But if it's like something you
That you're
feel like it's like
serious about.
long term, I probably wouldn't, because I feel like if you do like sleep with someone, like I don't know, say the first date, right? Then you don't really get to know who this person is, and then you have like this that have this idea in their head of who they could be, and it's like always like really happy, really like like oh, what's this? She's like just ideal person. Like nothing's wrong with this person. This person's perfect. And then we get to know them a little bit more. I think like the whole lust thing will kind of cloud your judgment on who they are, right? So like, oh, like maybe you look past like some of the red flags. Oh, I don't know, they kicked a dog or something. Oh man, but she's hot. We just had sex, so
I feel like
it's
John, what you're
fine.
saying is it all makes sense. It's all logical. But then I feel like at that moment,
Mhm.
you can't be that logical, right? I just think there's not much logic that you can put in a relationship. Not that you cannot
Mhm.
apply logic in relationship, but I feel like sometimes you have to go a little bit crazy. Let's put it that way.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, right.
I that's what I feel.
I don't know.
What about you,
that.
Leslie? What about you, Leslie?
For me, I wouldn't sleep with the guy on the first date.
No matter how well it goes.
Yeah. No, that's too soon. But then I wanted to ask you guys, like, if the girl initiated it on the first date,
Would it be a turn off?
would that come across as like, would it be a turn off to you guys, like for a guy, in your perspective?
Because I feel like if the other way around, it definitely would be a turn off for girls if the guy asks for it on the first date, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So that's why I want to hear like the guy's perspective.
I
Like,
take it as a
if
compliment.
so the girl wanted to sleep with you, you would take that as a compliment.
I'll take it
As
as
a
a
what, sorry?
compliment, but I wouldn't do it though.
as a
A
what, sorry?
compliment.
Oh, a compliment.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
'cause
you
how
wouldn't have.
often? Yeah,
So
I
that's
wouldn't
not
do
a
it,
turn
though.
off for you, John.
Not turn off, but you do kind of think about it, it's like, does she do this for all guys though? I think that's like another thing.
But what if it's the right moment? I guess just she didn't ask for it.
What's
It's
the
just
right
Ryan
moment?
keeps
because
talking
you-
about the right
Wait, so
moment.
what-
There's-
so what do you
it
mean
takes
right
moment. Like
moment,
I
though?
think sex just doesn't happen just sitting in a coffee shop and be like, oh, yo, let's go and hook up. Like that's not how it works, right? I guess like, oh shit, like it's like after dinner,
Well,
I guess a couple of drinks, and then
Mhm.
kind of a late night, and then stay at my place or like examples.
Well, when someone invites you over to their place, let's say, after dinner and drinks, isn't that kind of already like a hint? I'm talking about the first date that they want to sleep with you.
Mhm. That's like a pretty big. It's like
Invitation.
obvious.
Yeah.
That's
Like if
really
I'm inviting
obvious.
you over to my place,
You want to come
first
upstairs
time-
look at my paintings?
yeah, exactly. What else are we gonna do at my place?
So it's like this, right? So back
Come up for
then, you
some
know
coffee.
how Hong Kong closes everything for dinner, etc. Right? I think all the
You mean during
restaurants,
COVID?
like during COVID time, right? There's all the restaurants were closed after 6 p.m. Right? So say you met up this guy or this girl, and then after coffee you have nowhere to go. You be like, oh, you want to
That's a
hang
very
at my
specific
place?
example though, because like that's like during COVID lockdown rules. But like this is like I guess
In
I'm thinking
general.
in general, because I mean that changed, and then I don't know, the whole society changed a little bit, so no one knows what the hell's going on. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a good example, but sorry, go on.
So Leslie, for you, you would never go to a guy's place on your first date.
No.
Yes or no?
No. Currently, no.
What do you mean currently no? Our audience want to hear this. Like, what do you mean currently no?
Like the Leslie right now, at this day and age,
damn.
no.
That's
Never.
Same
But you
thing,
asked me this
so
question next year.
I know how
It
you
might
feel,
change.
Leslie.
It might change.
Know how you feel, Leslie.
I meant, younger Leslie, maybe. I don't know. But right now, no.
John,
Huh? Yeah, same answer. Same answer.
See? Yeah, you get me, John, right?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, Ryan's all about the moment, the moment.
Yeah.
I would go.
Yeah, I know you would.
Have you done that before though?
First
Ryan?
date going to someone's place, never,
Yeah, so
never.
So you've never had that moment.
I never had that moment, right? But
yeah. So
I feel like
wouldn't recommend it though. So although like people talk about it all the times, like, oh yeah, just hook up with them, like first date, fuck them. But
like, how some people they go backwards, right? Like, how like normally I would say you go on your first day, you get to know them, go on a few dates, and then you start like dating officially. And then maybe you sleep together, I don't know, fourth, fifth date or something like that. And then some people work backwards, right? They sleep with each other on the first date and then they get to know this person.
yeah, because
I'm sure you guys know people like your friends or
Yeah.
people around you like that, right? Like,
yeah.
what do you think? But yeah, for those two different.
Yeah, I'm wondering it's because like when they were growing up, they thought this is how it's supposed to be. And then I guess something happened which made them think, oh, that was a lie. So let me try that other thing and see if this is like the right, this is supposed to be like the right thing to do. That's what I think. Because I say like, a lot of stories about really conservative people and then how they grew up. And then when they get into college, just like crazy wild people. And then I guess it can happen the other way around, right? It can happen the other way around. You hear stories about like these people, oh, I was going out party, like, just sleeping with everyone. And then next year they're like a born again Christian, like no sex till marriage.
What if you meet someone that's like, really hot, attractive, the personality is great, but they're Christian, really Christian? What would you guys do?
What do you mean by really Christian?
As in like no sex till marriage?
Yeah, I feel like that's another episode.
Oh, sure. We'll save it for
like
another episode.
episode.
Like kind of goes along for religion topic and dating.
Yeah,
think?
mix that together.
I feel like this is a good question actually.
Yeah, I thought of that when John mentioned.
But I guess I
Born again
cannot
Christian.
end this episode without asking you guys this question, which I asked you guys previously before, is on the first date in Hong Kong,
Oh, Chang.
guy have to pay, man?
Ching, ching.
Like, is it true? Like all the guys have to get the bill and then pay for the meal, or else there's no chance for second date. Is that true?
That's not
Just want
true.
to
For me.
reconfirm.
For me, no.
For you?
Well, last time we talked about the
Yeah,
pay
hold on.
right?
Yeah,
So,
so
wait,
you
Leslie,
talked
I
about
was
the
like,
guy.
wait, what?
You took out the pay
Yeah.
code and you're like,
Well,
what the
that
hell
was just
this
like
guy?
everything else included. Like
But what if
that package was
cut out
just
cut out the
not
everything
good.
else?
Okay.
The date is going very well,
Okay, no.
and then
but
at the
I'm
end the bill
talking about a
arrives,
decent
and the guy
date.
is like, "Well, they pay me this is a payment code." You should be like,
Guys, can we not
bye.
bring that example into this question?
not the example, but I'm just saying, like on like a normal date after
yeah,
coffee.
if the date was going well, like a decent date,
yeah.
and they told me however much I need to pay them back, I wouldn't be like, that's the
let's say 32個半啦。Oh, sorry.
Okay,
中飲啊嘛
fine.
45蚊。
加some.
I mean,
Some-
obviously, it's nice if
should
they
feel like-
pay for you, if they're willing to
so
pay.
see, that's why. So that's what it's like. It looks
okay,
better.
so
It-
that's
it just-
so they do
yeah.
have to. They do
So you
have to
do-
pay.
have a preference if a guy pay for,
Obviously, it's
different, right?
nice, like if they pay.
because I feel like it puts
But
a
I'm
lot
not
of
saying it's a no if they don't. If the date actually went well.
because
But usually, okay, no, wait, let me rephrase this. Usually, if the date does go well, the guy will pay though, for my experience.
So I feel like you're kind of assuming the guy will pay if the
No, I
date-
never assume. I never assume. I always ask. But I'm just saying, like, usually for the ones that did go well, the guy does pay. Even though I ask, how much is it? They'll be like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, they'll take care of it.
So
for-
John, you mentioned this where you're gonna pay for the first
Yeah.
meal, right?
Yeah.
First date, right? So if the girl kind of suggested to go to a fancy restaurant, let's say omakase,
I'm not doing
right?
that.
Oh, actually, wait,
No,
actually,
I
John,
told you, man. I'm first date, not doing that. No
what about
dinners.
what
He's
about the
going to
first date went
Tatan
What if,
Monday.
well?
what if she's really hot?
No, no. All right, what if she's really hot?
No, what the, I told you.
I think
no,
the
man.
takeaway
No?
from this episode
No,
is if they're
man.
really hot, you would do anything. Is that it, Ryan?
That is not it. But John, wait. So if the first date went well, the second date they suggest, say, a fancy restaurant, you will pay for it. Is that true? Is that correct?
It's a fancy restaurant. I was like, damn, like why are we going? Wait, why are we going here again?
If the girl suggested, it's like, oh, I really want to try this nice omakase right by Central,
I don't know. I feel like after the first date, I'll kind of know if they're like a really gold digger, kind of expecting really fancy dinners or not. So, I mean, in that case, like if I didn't know and they brought it up like unexpectedly, I'll probably say no.
Right. Is it just because you have to pay that you're concerned with the cost, or you feel like you don't want to go that fancy
'cause of-
restaurant with this individual because you
You don't even
You
know
don't
this
feel-
person.
Yeah.
okay. So it really takes you to know this person before you go on some fancy restaurant.
Yeah,
And in
'cause
order to
it's like-
treat them
Yeah. 'cause
into
it's fan-
fancy, right?
It's a fancy restaurant that kind of like you really see something going on with this, like going with this person. You kind of know them pretty well. That's why you invest the money and invest
Mhm.
the money to take them to like a really fancy dinner. But if it's just like you still don't know them that well, you don't know how they're gonna be like, and then they bring that up. I'd say like that's a small red flag.
So I
Right.
guess to cap off this episode, right, is in Hong Kong, guys usually have to pay for the first date. So people listening to this episode, invest wisely. Cheers.
All
Yeah,
right.
good conclusion.
Nice.
Talk to you guys in our next episode. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.